The Pittsburgh Steelers pulled off a thrilling 44-38 victory on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals, fueled by 44 points, 3 forced turnovers, and a touch of good fortune. This win pushes the Steelers to 9-3 on the season, solidifying their grip on the AFC North. Let's dive into the key takeaways, but before we get into that, make sure you go down below and subscribe and turn the notification bell on so you never miss a Steelers update. Let's get straight into it. The Steelers offense looked like a completely different unit against the Bengals compared to their performances earlier this season. The key factor? Veteran quarterback Russell Wilson. While Wilson's Week 12 outing against the Browns looked solid on paper, it didn't translate well on the field. Against Cincinnati, however, he delivered one of his best career performances, his second best ever, and gave Pittsburgh a display of offensive firepower not seen since Ben Roethlisberger threw for 400 yards in November 2018. Russell Wilson rebounded from a rough start, a first pass pick six caused by George Pickens slipping on his route, to deliver his best performance yet in a Steelers uniform. Now, I want you guys to let me know, was that pass interference or not on the pick six? Over the next 3 quarters, Wilson torched the Bengals, throwing for 414 yards and 3 touchdowns while avoiding further turnovers. He was sacked only twice, one of which appeared to be a safe play late in the game. Wilson orchestrated an offensive clinic, leading the Steelers to scores on 5 consecutive drives, 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals, amassing 257 yards in just the first half. The defense complemented the effort with 3 takeaways, including Peyton Wilson's 4th quarter scoop and score, though it ultimately took Wilson managing 2 late clock-chewing drives and Justin Fields converting a critical 3rd down to seal the victory. Going back to George Pickens, he had a roller coaster of a game on Sunday. On the positive side, he made key plays, including catches of 17, 21, and 36 yards, consistently challenging the Bengals defense. His first catch, a beautifully adjusted touchdown grab from Wilson, was a highlight. However, his day wasn't without its drawbacks. The touchdown was redemption for the early route slip that led to Wilson's pick six, and his antics after 2 late catches earned him a taunting penalty and an unsportsmanlike conduct flag. Pickens was fortunate the second penalty didn't count towards disqualification, as it could have drastically altered the game's outcome if the Steelers had to play without him. Offensively, the Steelers were firing on all cylinders, with 10 players recording catches of at least 10 yards, but the team had to battle to secure the win, and Pickens' inability to keep his emotions in check could have had serious consequences if things had gone differently on just a few plays. The recently turned 36-year-old completed 29 of 38 passes for 414 yards, 3 touchdowns, and posted a stellar 126.4 passer rating. Under pressure from Cincinnati's defense, Wilson stayed composed, adjusted to the defensive looks, and got the ball out quickly. He spread the ball to 10 different receivers and held his ground in a shootout against Joe Burrow, proving his capability to lead the team under intense circumstances. For fans calling for Justin Fields to reclaim the starting quarterback role, this performance may have changed some minds. Fields remains a valuable asset in his complementary role, but Wilson has firmly earned the QB1 spot with his poise, experience, and recent production. Head coach Mike Tomlin and offensive coordinator Arthur Smith deserve credit for tailoring the game plan to Wilson's strengths, allowing him to thrive. With schemes like this, there's no excuse for the Steelers not to replicate such offensive success moving forward. On the defensive side, Alex Highsmith was expected to start alongside TJ Watt at outside linebacker but wasn't at full strength, paving the way for Nick Herbig to step in. Herbig made the most of his opportunity, notching 2 sacks and delivering a game-changing strip sack on Burrow in the 4th quarter, which Peyton Wilson returned for a defensive touchdown. Herbig's play mirrored Watt's earlier forced fumble in the 2nd quarter, highlighting the Steelers' dominance in creating turnovers. Watt's 32 forced fumbles since 2017 lead the league, and Herbig looks poised to follow in his footsteps, forming a dynamic pass-rushing duo. This Week 13 matchup billed as a Game of the Week candidate, and it lived up to the hype. The Steelers sacked Burrow 4 times, while Wilson was brought down twice. The teams combined for 692 passing yards, 203 rushing yards, and 204 penalty yards in a chippy but thrilling game. Despite a Bengals blocked field goal, Pittsburgh's edge in the turnover battle secured the win. With both teams set to meet again in Week 18, this clash won't soon be forgotten. It was a showcase of talent, grit, and adjustments as the Steelers came out on top in a pivotal AFC North showdown. Pittsburgh's offense showed it could match the Bengals' high-powered, 6th-ranked scoring unit stride for stride. The Steelers also capitalized on a Bengals defense missing key starters Logan Wilson and Sheldon Rankins. Russell Wilson delivered a vintage performance but wasn't alone in his efforts. Najee Harris overcame an upset stomach to rack up for 125 all-purpose yards, including a pivotal game-tying touchdown run in the second quarter. Backup running back Cordero Patterson also stepped up, making impactful plays throughout the first half. On defense, the Steelers adjusted in the second half, putting relentless pressure on Joe Burrow after he had success extending plays early on. TJ Watt and Cam Hayward led the charge, with Hayward contributing a sack and a critical deflection that set up Dante Jackson's interception. The game featured a thrilling stretch where the two teams traded touchdowns on 5 consecutive drives. However, Watt's strip sack of Burrow late in the first half proved to be a turning point. The turnover set up Chris Boswell's go-ahead field goal, and from that moment, the Steelers never relinquished their lead. It's understandable if Steelers fans felt uneasy after last week's loss to the Browns. The offense struggled for much of that game, and the defeat gave the Baltimore Ravens a chance to close the gap in the AFC North. On Sunday against the Bengals, however, Pittsburgh's offense looked like the playoff caliber unit the team has been striving to build since Ben Roethlisberger's retirement. Despite an early pick 6, Russell Wilson rebounded and played nearly flawless football the rest of the way. Pickens, Najee Harris, Pat Freiermuth, and the rest of the offense stepped up, while a fumble return touchdown by Peyton Wilson in the second half helped seal the win. The Steelers racked up an impressive 520 yards of total offense in the game. While the offensive explosion came against a struggling Bengals defense, it's a promising sign for a team that looked like a pretender just 10 days ago. More importantly, the win keeps Pittsburgh at the top of the AFC North as they prepare for a rematch with Cleveland next week. The AFC North is shaping up to be a 2-team race, and the Steelers will need more performances like Sunday's to stay ahead of Baltimore. With the Ravens on their bye next week, Pittsburgh faces a grueling stretch afterward. Road games against the Eagles and Ravens, followed by a home clash with the Chiefs. How they handle this stretch will likely determine their fate in the divisional race. No one could have predicted this kind of resurgence for Russell Wilson after his release by Denver in the offseason. The Broncos were so eager to move on that they absorbed nearly $38 million in fully guaranteed salary to part ways with him, a move that typically signals the end of a player's relevance. Instead, Wilson's revival is a testament of how much fit and situation matter. In Denver, he was a poor match for Sean Payton's system. Now, in an environment tailored to his strengths, he's thriving and lifting the Steelers' offense in the process. Looking ahead, Pittsburgh faces a significant decision this offseason. Wilson, currently on a league minimum deal, will undoubtedly seek a lucrative contract after his stellar performances. The Steelers may have no choice but to invest heavily to keep him. Determining the worth of a 36-year-old quarterback won't be easy, but for now, that's a question for another day. Let me know, do you think the Steelers re-sign Russell Wilson in the offseason? And if you made it this far and you haven't already, make sure you go down below and you subscribe and you turn the notification bell on so you never miss a Steelers video or any video at all. Leave a like as well. I greatly do appreciate it, and I'll see y'all on the next one.